everyone, welcome to Bikini Design Club. Today we will have a short video, I mean it's 30 minutes, but for all the content that we need to share with you, it's not a lot. It's very important for you to see this video if you are going to start sewing one of our new underwire bikini tops. So if you are going to, please watch this video from the beginning until the end, because we will talk about everything you need to know before you start sewing. So this is more or less like the basics. And we also have a surprise during the video, but I'm not gonna tell you what it is. You will find out if you watch the entire video. So let's start by talking about the measurements of your body before we start digging more into the supplies, the shapes of the patterns, the styles, and everything you need to know to start sewing underwire bikini tops by Bikini Design Club. So let's get started. I imagine at this point you have already seen these images on the size chart of our online store, but just a quick reminder that this is important so that you make sure you find your correct size. So in here we have the bust point, and if you design this circle around your breast, you'll have this inside line here that it's called the inner bust arc, okay? And this will help you on our size charts to find out which pattern piece you need to sew. And then you have this lower, this is like a vertical line that goes from the bust point to under the bust, and this is an horizontal line you will do under the bust until you, through your back and then back, so like an horizontal line that you have to measure with your measuring tape. And so this vertical line here that goes from the bust point to the under the bust line is called the bust high. And then the same line from the bust point to the outside, it's called the outer bust arc. And these are some measurements that are important when we are designing the patterns, because they are the base for the construction of our bikini patterns. Then this one, you may have seen also on our size charts. It's you just need to measure full bust, so on top of your bust point and around your back. Try to be accurate and make this measurement horizontal. And then the measurement for under the busts. And you also need this to determine the cup size. Another one you may have seen, it's this one. And this is just to explain you that our patterns are designed with a wire growth of 1.5 centimeters between sizes, and this is because some brands, the brands that produce the wires are not universal. So you will see brands that between length of the wire they changed 1 centimeter between sizes, 1.2, 1.5, 2. So in our case, just for you to know that we graded our patterns as if the wire's growth is 1.5 centimeters between sizes. What does this mean, wire length? It's the length of the wire from one edge until the opposite edge, and you can measure that easily grabbing your wire and with a measure tape and measuring the wire. And when you buy the wires, you also find that information on most websites. We also placed links to some stores that sell the wire styles that we need to produce our patterns. So just go ahead and press the links and search for your wire. And this is the beginning of all the things we need to know to be able to produce our patterns. So now let's move on to our next info. For the styles, we recommend that you watch the video from Liz. She has a YouTube channel called Liz Sews, and we have done an interview with her if you want to watch the full interview on our YouTube channel. But we will link here on the top the bra styles, that video that Liz made. So you just click on the link and you go there. Don't forget, if you do it now, to come back to see the rest of our video. If not, we will have a timestamp so you can easily
come back to this moment of our video and press the video of Liz.
The next information I want to give you is regarding names of the pattern pieces. Some of you already know the names of the pieces, but for those of you who are new at this, I really want to help you and guide you through the process, because I really believe anyone can do this. So I think even in my not so good drawing, you can understand that this is a bra, right, or a bikini top. And so I'm going to explain you which pattern pieces we have here. This is quite simple, and you will see this on Marylin top. This here, this pattern piece here, is our upper cup. And it's because it's up, and these ones are the lower cups. This is the lower cup, but we call it inner cup. And why? Because it's on the inside, it's on the center of your bikini top. And this is the outer cup. Okay, so it's quite easy. Inner cup, outer cup, and upper cup. And then we have this space here in the middle that may be not here, but like so. That it may be like this, just one entire piece, and this would be a cradle, a band with cradles, bridge, and cradle again. So I'm going to divide this in three, just like on Marylin top. The side here, until you reach the seam of the lower cups, this side here is called the cradle. And as you can see, you have another one on this side. This center part here, this is a very important pattern piece for our bikini tops, because we need this area here to be very stable. We don't want our cups to be spreading, right? So this is the area where we are always going to use stabilizer fabric with no stretch whatsoever. And this is called the bridge. It's kind of fun because it's the bridge between the two, you know. So this is the bridge. And then we have this part here, which is called the wing. We are used to do it as the back piece, so this is the back piece, okay? And it will have stretch, and the cradle will also have stretch, except if you are a very large cup and you really don't want to have and you really need the support, you can also use the stabilizer for your cradle, but not for the wing. Then we have here the straps, and this is also something that you already know from the other patterns. The straps can be attached to the main cup with rings, they can be sewn to the main cup, so we have a lot of pattern pieces, ways to connect these pattern pieces. And if we are doing something like the Marylin top, this would be the pattern pieces that you need to know. But of course, not every patterns include an upper cup and two lower cups. Sometimes you will find 3 lower cups instead of 2. You will find 1 inner cup and 1 outer cup and no upper cup. So this is where we have fun. This is where we play around with the cups and the design of our bikini. But now I also want to talk to you about another style, which is, for instance, this one. And we also have this one available on our store. I still haven't decided the name, but I will give it a name very soon. What happens here is that, for instance, the cradle and the wing, so the sides part here and the wing, they are attached together, but they of course can be separated. For instance, if you want to have bone here or here, you can also do it, but that's specific to sewing, and it's mentioned on the pattern descriptions. So we have here an entire cup. This is a dart, so as you can see, we only have one piece for the cup, so it's completely different from the one I've shown you. And then we have a very small bridge here. This is called the hook bra or the hook top, because you have like a hook here in the middle that connects all the pieces, but you don't have any pattern piece underneath the cup. So this, of course, again, it's called the bridge, and it is stabilized as on the other design. Here, of course, we have our cradle and our wing, and our straps, and our cup. This also means, as you can imagine, that the plunge here is completely different than the one we had here. Here, as you can imagine, this is a bit higher on the middle of your chest, and this one is much lower in the middle of your chest. We also have patterns in which the bridge, instead of being high, so if I took the bridge out of here, this is something like this, but instead of being something so big, sometimes, and we have a pattern with that option also, we only have a very small piece here on the lower part connecting the cups, and this is the same again with stabilizer, and it is connecting the two cups, but this changes a lot regarding the wire that you are using, because as we have talked before, you know that the wire goes from here, I'm doing the line, okay, so follow me, until here. And so as you can see, if the wire goes to this small bridge here, it's not the same length that is going than if it was going until here. And of course it would be much different from a wire going to from the top here until the top here. And this brings me to talk about styles. We have already talked about styles, so you already know that the wires depend on the style. So please just check the pattern descriptions to find out which wires you need to buy and which style are we sewing. Let's talk about supplies. So the first one I want to show you, and this is white, so I will pop up the nude underneath so it's easier for you to see. This is the nude and this is the white, but you can have this in so many colors. This is the power mesh. This has some stretch, horizontal and vertical, and it is the fabric that I use to place on the wings and on the cradle. It has elasticity and it gives you support. You have other nets that are elastic and are not so strong, that also give you support, but I really like to use the power mesh. So I have this in some colors and I've been using it to make all my underwire patterns, and it's called the power mesh. Then we have this, and again this is white, but you can see, I'm gonna take this one out, you can see that the net here is much lighter and you can see through the net, and this is because it's non-stretchy fabric and it is very thin. This is the stabilizer. You have no stretch whatsoever on the stabilizer, and this is the fabric that we use on the bridge. Again, you can buy this in many colors. Setting this aside, probably I should have started with the cut and sew foam. This is the cut and sew foam. This one is in nude, but you can also find this in many other colors. I have here, for instance, in blue and in black also. And the cut and sew foam is the foam that we use to do our cups. So on our bikini patterns, underwire bikini patterns, we do not use pre-molded cups. We construct, we sew our own cups, and the patterns for the cups are always provided when you buy the pattern. So this is the foam. Then let's go to the smaller bits and pieces that we need to construct our pattern. Of course, rubber elastic, because you are doing swimwear, so you need rubber elastic, and mine is 0.8 centimeters wide, and this is the elastic I've been using. I only have this small bit here, but I wanted to show you. This is the bone that you can sew to the fabric, and this is the bone that I usually apply on my swimwear. I use this to do the olive top if you want to check it out. And so this don't use metal because it will be rusty, but use plastic sewing bone. Then we also have rings. I bought this, but you can find these in so many colors. These are rings and sliders for straps. I usually connect my straps with the rings, but if you want, you can also use the strap adjusters as a connector instead of the ring. If you like this shape, you can also use it. And I have them in many colors. Don't forget that they need to be coated, or they will also get rusty after you use the swimsuit. Wires. Well, wires, it's this one is a plunge wire. As you can see, there's a spot here with the color, with the blue color. This means that this is the center, so it's the area where you have the bridge. This is the center of my wire, so don't forget to always place your wire with the collar on the inner part of your chest. Then I also have here to show you clasps. Of course, you have different clasps with different heights, so also make sure that they are coated and they are ready to be used with swimwear. And then we still have channeling. Channeling is something that has a side that is plush, very, very soft. And this is the side that it's going to be in contact with your body, and then it has the other side that is going to be with the fabric. And if you find here, you have a small hole where you will insert your wire. This has a stretch a little bit, and it's very, very easy to sew a curve with this. I have here in black, but you have this again in so many colors. Just need to choose. And regarding supplies, that's it for today. Still regarding supplies, I want to go a little bit deeper on wires. When I talked to you before about the length of the wire, what I meant is that you grab your tape measure and you measure your wire from one end to the other. This is 22.5 centimeters to know exactly the length of the wire. Many brands have pattern chart sizes, printable, that you can print and check which is your pattern, your size. But if you wanted to know how to know your size for the wire, I will place a link down below from Liz Sews, and you can see how, and she explains perfectly how to take your own measurements and how to find out which is your wire size. Never be too, how should I say, obsessed about the wire size, because sometimes we find out that we are a different number than the number we thought we were. So this is something that we need to be open-minded. And regarding wires, I wanted to show you something. I'm going to draw an horizontal line here and also a vertical line, and I'm going to show you easily how you can see the differences between the wires. As I told you before, the blue area here is always the center, so I'm gonna put the center on this side here, and I'm gonna place my first wire aligned on the lower X line with the Y here. And this means that the center of my wire would be here for this specific wire. And as you can see, the height of my wire is here, and this is of course the outer, so under the arm. This side is under the arm, and you can see perfectly the shape of my first wire. If we draw a line, not that perfect, but just so we can then compare, we have here our first style, and this is the balconette style. I'm gonna write here, balconette. Then if we compare to this one, for instance, and they are all the same size, okay, so that's why it's so easy to compare. If we compare and place again on the same position, you can see that the center is much lower than the balconette wire, at the center of the chest, of course. The center of the wire is here, and then you can see that the wire shape goes here. So this is under the arm again, okay? And this is the push-up style. Then we have here another one, and this is the demi cup one. And if we place the wire again here, you can see it's very interesting, because you can see that the center of the wire changed, so it's now here, and the top is here, and the opposite side, so under the arm, is here. I'm gonna draw the line again so that we can compare. Okay, this one is the demi cup or short wire. So we could see that we had three. We had one here that it was the balconette. We have the demi cup short wire, and we had the plunge style. So all of them with different heights here in the middle, and all of them with different heights under the arm. All of them, the length is different. So make sure you try to keep the style that we mentioned on the pattern, but you can also cut wires if you have them at home. You can also cut. I still haven't tried that yet, but when I do, I will share so that you all know exactly how I will do it. So regarding the wires, now that's it. This is also another way to show you exactly what we've been talking about. You can perfectly see here, we have seams here. This is the bridge, this is the centerpiece. Okay, and then after the sewing here, the seam, we have until this area here, we have the cradle, symmetric on both sides, and then we have the wing on the back. So it's this piece. I'm gonna show you insides. Okay, so this is where you can place the boning if you want. You can also see here the stitches of combining the three pattern pieces. The upper cup, as I told you, and then the two lower cups, the inner cup and the outer cup. Here you can see the fabric a little bit lighter. This is in black. This is the stabilizer in black. You can see the wire channeling sewn here. This one we made with the rings, but you have a tutorial on how to sew Marylin, so I'm not going to take you any longer regarding the sewing process. Another style I want to show you. Also wanted to show you this regarding another style. Never mind that this is not finished, as you can see, so never mind. But I just wanted to show you a completely different style than the Marylin top. This one has a very, very small, tiny bridge, also with stabilizer, so they won't spread, so don't worry. Stabilizer inside this pattern piece here. And then the cup is one piece with a dart, and then we have a side and a back piece, which I placed together, so you have only one piece for the back. This style, for instance, I sewed with swimwear fabric on both sides, but if I wanted, inside these two fabrics I could have placed, for instance, power mesh to give more support to my design, to my style. If I had a bigger cup, probably that's what I would have done. You can also sew this one using power mesh on one side, and the power mesh is in contact with you, so that's no problem, and on the other side your main fabric. But I really wanted this to have no seams visible on the neckline or under the arm, so that's why I used two swimwear fabrics. So if I wanted to add the power mesh, I would do it inside. And then you can see here the channel for the wire. This is a plunge style, so it's a very small wire, but gives you a lot of support. And I'm still deciding which name I should give this one and how I should do the closure on the back. But I still wanted to share because it's such a different style from the Marylin top that I think this is a good way to just show you in practice on my table the drawings that I showed you before.